What is up, and welcome back to the channel, everybody. I've been a couple weeks not posting. I've been doing other things, but we are in the garage again today with the S10. Before I get any farther into this video, I want to let you guys know you guys need to head over to MrEazyS10.com and go pick you guys up some of that new merch that I just had made. Jacob at Elite designed it, and T-Shirt Lab and Florida is printing them out. So go over there, go buy a t-shirt. I do have a very short stock of hoodies, and this is going to be the only hoodies of that style made. So if you want a hoodie, you better go over there and buy it now before they're all sold out, because they are going to sell out fast. But yeah, today we are on the truck today. Over the last couple years, I've been noticing my 60 foots have been getting slower and slower and slower. I've been having to add weight to the truck to get the weight bias right. I just couldn't figure it out. I was at a a brain fart area. You know, I just couldn't figure out what was going on. So I reached out to Calvert Racing, as the truck is on a split monoleaf and Caltrax. I'm like, hey, you know, what's going on? I've been noticing this. The truck's sagging a little bit more. What's going on? Well, they've informed me that I didn't know before, that the split monoleafs do have a lifespan. And I've had them on the truck for like 8 years. And that's well past the lifespan. So, as you guys can kind of see here, it's a little dark here, that this leaf is pretty much straight. There is no curve in it or nothing like this front one. The front one don't have a lifespan, but the back half does. And these things are pretty much straight. So, knowing the truck has 2-inch drop monoleafs on it, they sent me 2-inch drop rear leafs to be putting on this thing. So I got 2 extra jack stands from Tyler down the street, and we are going to be pulling the rear end apart on this thing. I'm hoping to keep the rear end right there and just pull the leafs off of it and have the jack stands hold the rear end in place, pull the leafs halfway out, unbolt them, bolt the new ones on, and go up there. I actually did do some measurements also, just to confirm my what I'm thinking is going on. So the truck's been, you know, getting lower to the ground, wheel gaps getting smaller. So I did take measurements. I did put a wheel on, did take a measurement of the wheel gap from the tire to the fender, and then also I did from the fender to the top of the rotor here. So when we get the new rear halves of the leafs in, we will be able to confirm what's going on. Also, nothing's really been going on here, besides I do got the new turbo on the truck. This is where the turbo is going to go, just like previously. I have a new core support coming, so that one's going to, this is all going to be gone with a lightweight one. And we're going to have to make the cold side again. I'm hoping that the core support opens all this up a little bit here, so I can somewhat reuse my old one. We just got to cut it shorter, because this actually is a little bit longer than the old turbo. And I do have the old VS billet wheel 8896 still. It is for sale. If you guys want to buy that, all you got to do is email me and at MrEazyS10@outlook.com. I'm selling it for $850, but if you tell me you've seen this video and you got it from YouTube, I'll sell it to you for $750. That's shipped to your door. I will pay the shipping. I'll get it to your door. Yeah, so we're going to get tearing into the truck and seeing what we can figure out. Pretty much, this is what the rear leaf consists of. It's just a single leaf spring that mounts to the back and then connects in the front. They have a centering pin, and yeah, you just bolt them together just like that. Do got 2 of them. These are the part numbers for the 2-inch lowered leaf springs. So I'm going to get to taking the U-bolts out of this thing. I'm going to take the cowl tracks down. I'm not going to de-adjust anything. I'm just going to drop them down, get them out of the way. I may have to take the bottom bolts out of the shocks, get those out of the way as well, and then take the leaf spring off and get it ready to go. That was spring loaded. Now that I did get it unbolted, the spring did kind of spring back a little bit. So I'm not quite sure if this is going to work or not, but we will find out when it's all said and done. Put my knee up here. Now that I have the leaf removed, it does have a little bit of curve in it, but it's not very much still. So when it was underneath the truck, it looked like it curved some more back up. But yeah, so I have to figure out how to get the set pin out, and then it's just unbolting these guys, and those will be out, and we can bolt the other side right back in. I ended up laying them together, and as you can see, the fronts are pretty close to even. Let me turn the camera here. And then this is the back. So that is how much difference there is on those. That is insane. What I don't get is this spring don't look the same as that one. And I don't know if it's because it's a new style, they built it a little bit better or whatnot, but yes, it is definitely a different looking leaf. So, yeah. Well, it's a couple days later. I left off on me looking at the springs and how different they were. So I ended up just calling it a day. I reached back out to Calvert and got back with them, and they were like, yeah, that's the new design. They're a 800-pound spring, and being the arch comes up from the top instead of like goes down and then around, it goes up and then around. They go, that's a better design and everything like that. And they go, it starts off at a ½ inch thick on the inside and goes out to an 1/8 inch, I mean a 1/4 inch thick on the outside. It's just an overall better design. So I'm gonna get back going. I'm gonna put this one side on and start finishing on the other side, start taking that one side apart, and hopefully by the end of this video, this thing has brand new rear leaves installed. So I'll get going to that, guys, and stay tuned because we're going to figure out how much of travel and wheel space I gained off of this. The first line of attack I got to do is bolt these two leaves together. I'm going to start by taking this off, and I had a wrench here, there we go. Take this little, I don't know what we'd call it, a clamp. Take this off. Of course, messing everything up. Take that off. Just like that. Set that down. And of course, gotta try getting my nut back. So I did that. And then the kit come with new pins. So essentially what you gotta do is you gotta line this spring up like so, and then the pin goes in the holes like so until you find them, like that. You put the nut on the bottom, of course. It's all clamped up. Slide this stuff out of the way here, and then get your Allen head, make sure it's on a tight sequence, stick it up in there, get your impact, set it up in there. And I have my impact at the lowest setting, on setting 1, so that's why it took so many times to get that tight. So now I got that all set in stone. It's all bolted together here. So now you just got to add these back into it.
Are you filming?
Mm-hmm.
Where's the camera?
You just want to make sure those are tight enough so they don't come off. They're not super tight, but not loose at the same time. Then I gotta get a little bit of grease put on here, because this is the bolt that holds into the rear part of the leaf. And if you just grease it up just a little bit, it'll make it easier. So if you ever want to take this bolt back out of those rubber grommets, that it comes out really easy. So I'm gonna do that, and then I gotta figure out what socket goes on that. So essentially what this is it's just wheel bearing grease. I'm just gonna put a light layer onto it, just making sure that it is lubed up so when it goes into the rubber don't seize to it, and if anything happens I can get it out a little bit easier than if I was just putting it in there normally. When you put this in, you don't make this bolt super tight. You want the rear shackle to have a little bit of play and be easily to move. It's just everything so you're not binding the suspension up. So I'm gonna put this in, and we will get it bolted up, and then we'll have to just put our shim in and bolt the U-bolts back up onto the cow tracks. So I'll get to shoving this guy in, and of course it's a little tight. So I just used my jack and a little rod. I put it up underneath the leaf spring. I pushed that up into the shackle right here. So I pushed it up into the shackle here. Got these rubber bushings here. So now all I gotta do is line the holes up with that, put the bolt in, and bolt the cow tracks back up, the shock back up, and this thing is done on this side. Now that I have everything bolted up here, I gotta put my shim in here, just like that. So this is a Calvert pinion angle shim, and we are putting that in there. Then I'm gonna pull down on that, lift up on that, and get the U-bolts in there, and so it is all bolted up and ready to go. I got those good, and just from a quick guess right here, I did put the tape measure from the wheel well right here to the rotor, and it's like 5 inches, 4.1/8 inches difference. Now the rear end is in there sideways right now, so when I get the other one in, it'll straighten it out. Might move this up a little bit, but also there is no pressure onto the rear end. I guess when I first measured it, there was no pressure either. So yeah, I'm gonna get going on the other side, and we'll be done here shortly. Well, I got it all bolted up. The shock is bolted up. I did have to jack the rear end up a little bit to get the shock mounted. I had these shocks custom made a couple years ago, lengthwise, and now with the added suspension, they are maxed out and would not get bolted up. So I have a feeling we're gonna have to redo this whole suspension on this thing, but yeah, I'm gonna bolt up the other side, and I guess we're probably gonna have to loosen up all the adjustments and get it adjusted better for the new setup. And of course, the shocks won't always be bottomed out, because The weight of the truck will compress it a little bit, so there will be difference in there. But just as of right now, they are. So, yep, that's the story we're at. I'm going to go ahead and do the other side. I'm not going to bore you guys with that. And then when I'm all said and done, I'll let you guys know how it looks. Well, I got the other side on. And when I did that, I noticed that on the pin that centers the rear end on the driver's side, the first side I didn't put a spacer in there. So the pin wasn't centering the rear end. So I did it right on the passenger side, come back to the driver's side, and I was fixing it on that side, and I ended up breaking a U-bolt. So it's not a big deal. We got a shop here in town that makes those. I'll run those over there tomorrow, which is Monday, and they'll make me a new one. And then this will be completely done for the rear end. And being completely honest with you guys, I really didn't gain nothing. I thought the leaf was pretty flat. The old one was pretty flat. It was used up. It was past its lifespan, all that stuff like this. So this new one, I was going to get more ride height out of it, all that stuff like that, which I really didn't. I measured it all. So my old spring, the wheel gap from the top of the tire to the inside of my wheel well, I had an 1 inch, 1 1/8 inches of wheel gap. And with the new spring on, I had 1 2/8 inches of wheel gap. From the rotor to the wheel well, the rotor right here to the wheel well, on the old springs I had 11 7/8, and on the new spring I have 11 7/8 as well. So I really didn't gain nothing on that end. And then on the passenger side, on the old springs, the wheel gap I had was 1 3/4 inch, and the new springs I have 1.5 inches. So I actually lost wheel gap with the new spring on the passenger side. And then on the rotor gap, I had 12.5 inches on the old spring, leaf, I should say. And then now I have 12 3/8 of gap from the wheel well to the rotor. So I'm actually losing on the passenger side and gained 1/8 on the driver's side. And to be honest with you, they still look extremely flat. So I'm not sure what's really going on with the rear end. I spent all the money on getting new leafs, and I really didn't need them, I guess. So it is what it is. I'll keep those around. We'll see if anything improves this year. They're on. I'm leaving them on. So if anything improves, good for me. If not, then oh well. But yeah, got a couple more things coming for the S10. Like I told you guys, we still need the hot side to be done. I have a couple things to do on the front end. I want to lose a little bit more weight on the front end. I got a couple things coming for that. I'm going to hack up a fender and finish hacking up the other fender, all that stuff like that. So you guys got to stay tuned because we're going to be chopping this thing up even more. Jacob's got my other wheel. He's working on some graphics for those. I got these sill plates here. We're working on graphics for those. And yeah, there's a lot of things coming. It's beautiful out right now. It's like 55 degrees. Tomorrow's going to be 70 degrees, 75 degrees. So yeah, it's going to be a good one. I work Monday, Tuesday, and then I got rest of the week off because Brooke will be out of town, and I'll be watching London, so I won't be able to work because my hours are pretty shady, and I can't get her to school when I'm at work at midnight, and I can't pick her up if I'm working past 5. So yeah, I thank you guys for watching. If you guys have not, the new shirts will be here any day now, so go to the link in the description right here, MrEazyS10.com. Go pick up a shirt, a hoodie. I have very little hoodies left, so if you want a hoodie, this is your chance to go pick it up. And until next time, guys, we'll catch you on the next one. Peace.